And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No. I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again. It's you and me on the radio. Don't you love it? I know I do. This is as good as it gets, baby. This is as good as it gets. Looking at a story here that I find fascinating and hardly surprising, and it kind of relates to stuff we've been talking about the last couple of days. Here it is. This from... Are you over 35? Are you still looking for Mr. Right? Are you feeling left on the shelf? Perhaps it is time to repackage your assets. Take a hard look at your personal brand and start telemarketing yourself. Sounds a bit like launching a new laundry soap or marketing yogurt as an aphrodisiac? Well, that's precisely what former marketing consultant turned find-a-husband coach Rachel Greenwald is suggesting in her new book, Find a Husband After 35, using what I learned at Harvard Business School. Greenwald said it's not very traditional to hear the words dating and Harvard Business School in the same sentence. But she says, I believe this is marriage 911, an emergency, and I think it requires proven business techniques to get results. This is no book for the faint-hearted, the story goes. For die-hard romantic, finding a husband ain't easy in the United States, where there are 28 million single women over 35, compared to a mere 18 million men. Greenwald, who used to market Avion water and Carolee jewelry, has put together a 15-step program that shows women how to package their assets, develop a personal brand, use telemarketing to get the word out, establish a husband search budget, and hold performance reviews to assess results. And you can do it all using her no-money-down techniques. Like Carlton Sheets. Sounds like Carlton Sheets, doesn't it? For only $9.99, she'll tell you how to do this. No, actually, she has this book. The story continues. It says here she even tells women how to conduct a toe-curling exit interview with a man who has just dumped them to find out what went wrong. Guys, wouldn't you love to have an exit interview? How many times have you just, stopped calling a chick because you were just fed up or whatever? And you never had the chance to tell her all the things that were wrong with her? She never asked, and you were too busy effing around to tell, but wouldn't it have been fun to go back and say, oh, yeah, I'll give you all the reasons I dumped you. Here's the list. Says here, these are tactics which Greenwald successfully used herself 11 years ago when she determined to marry before 35. And she started using herself to help her single friends, who she called all smart and fabulous women, who for some reason had reached their late 30s or 40s, but hadn't found the man they wanted to wed. You know what? This is not a mystery, Sherlock Holmes. This is not hard to figure out. I am amazed that these women can't figure out why they can't find the man of their dreams. Let me clarify for those of you too dense to understand. You women who understand marketing and advertising and like feelings and sex and having a personal life. Okay, let me explain. See, if you went to Harvard Business School, ladies, if you are working 10, 12, 14 hours a day trying to be successful, of course you're single. You're not available when we need you. You're not available when we want you. To us, we come home from work and you are available. That's how it works. You're not out of town on business. You're not taking extra courses at night. You're not working until 10 o'clock and then saying, you know, I'm too tired to come over tonight. How about tomorrow? No wonder you're single. It's not an accident. You don't need exit interviews. You don't need to do market research to find out why you're a spinster. You're a spinster because you're like a man. What man wants to be with another man? Other than the Fab Five. What man wants to be with another man? Please. The fact that you spend your day considering how to market products, and then you consider your dating life to be like all other forms of marketing. Well, I've got to relaunch my brand. I've got to repackage my assets. I've got to come up with some new slogans to promote my product. I've got to increase my market share. Is that how you look at dating? No wonder no man wants to be with you. I am not the least bit surprised. I wouldn't want to be with a woman who considers me to be a brand on a shelf. And she's a brand on a shelf and we're sharing shelf space. What is that? You got to be kidding me. You know, we are not the public that you are marketing to. We are predators. You are game. That's what it is. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to say all because I know all you house husbands and pussies will call in, but the average guy wants to come home and have that chick available for whatever. Watching the game with, getting us a beer, making us dinner, coming over when we feel like having you come over. The minute you start telling us that you're busy or in a meeting or you're working late, you know what? We find other chicks. That's how it works. I have always said that ejaculation is equal to urination. How many guys stand there hopping on one foot till 10 o'clock at night when they can get to a urinal? Are you kidding? We'll pee behind the next Chrysler. That's what we're going to do. We will go to the filthy mobile station. By the way, the other day I was in a gas station. I'm not going to say which brand it was because whoever it was will threaten to sue us or threaten to pull their advertising off the radio. So let's just say it's one of the big names. Driving home from Las Vegas, and it was disgusting. You remember that one the other day, Steve? I'm just going to say that this particular gas station is owned by a company that's out of the country. It's not one of the American companies. But it was disgusting. But you want to know something? I was in Death Valley, and the next gas station was 60 miles away. What am I going to do, sit in the car and squirm? While I'm driving back from Vegas to Los Angeles, I'm going to sit there and wait for the next gas station? No, I'm a man. I had to buck up, hold my nose, go in there, and let loose as fast as I could. And that's how it is with chicks. Not available till next week, or you're working late, or you're out of town on business. All that means is I'm not going to hop around on one leg while I wait for you to finish your business. If you're not available to me, I'm going somewhere else. Repackaging your brand, guess what? To get where you are, dear, you're a bitch. You're usually a smart mouth, smart ass bitch who thinks you're smarter than everybody else, can't shut up about her intelligence level, goes around barking orders like she does in the office, and is generally not available at times when we need them to be available. That's why they're single. Period. Do you disagree?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom is a talk master, so you can't get on this radio and say certain things to him because he's going to eat your lives.
The Tom Leykis Show.
On 100.7.
The buzz of Seattle.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Vicky on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You know, you think that women are just here to serve men.
Oh, no. If you want to have a career, honey, you go right ahead. But all I'm telling you is, when you're 35 and single, don't start asking why. You know why.
Me, myself, I am not single. I have...
Those who are, if they need a book to figure out why they're single, I can sum it up for you in a couple of sentences.
Okay, the thing with you is that you feel that women... My boyfriend, he listens to you all the time.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy because for one reason, he thinks that you're like his dad. Well, the only
I'm the dad he never had, as he knows.
Yeah, well, the problem is that I go to work at 4 in the morning, so I keep you home by noon to take care of my kids and to have dinner cooked for my boyfriend and my family.
By the way, is your boyfriend the father of your children?
Yes, he is, of all 3 of them.
I see. And why are you having so many children with a man you're not married to?
We've been together for so many years. We're not married because we just never chose to.
I see. And you think that's good for your children?
Probably not. Probably
But who
not.
cares about them? It's all about you.
No, you're right. You're right. I chose the wrong path, and you know what? Now I deal with that. But at the same token, a woman has to be a mom, and I constantly say that.
Well, again.
It makes me a bad mom for having a dog?
Well, first of all, put it this way, dear. You shouldn't have had 3 children because you are too young, prepared for this, and you can't care for them.
How can I not care for them?
Because when they get up in the morning, who gives them breakfast?
I do.
You do. At what, 3 a.m.? You said you go to work at 4.
I get up and I go to work. A lot of times I'm off by 8 in the morning.
Dear,
Sometimes I'm off
you
by
just
12.
said you work from 4 to 12.
Sometimes I do. But on different occasions I can get off by 8 in the morning.
So sometimes you serve them breakfast, and when you don't, who does?
When I take my lunch, my mother.
Your mother does. So your mother now has the burden of also having to help raise your kids.
By what? Then getting dressed in the morning?
Shouldn't your mother enjoy the luxury of finally being retired instead of having to take on your babysitting chores?
Babysitting, they're sleeping while she has them.
It doesn't matter.
She's sleeping.
So doesn't your mother deserve to have time off after a tough life raising you?
And she does.
Well, no, she doesn't, because she has to dress your kids and feed your kids and be there when your kids are sleeping. You know what she should be? She should be on a cruise ship somewhere, enjoying life,
and
not babysitting your children.
And you know what? I've been on 3 cruises myself.
I'm not talking about you, dear. I'm talking about your mother.
And you know what? She does. And she also has my brother who was 12. So she's not done retired yet herself.
How old is your mother?
She's 41.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder you're popping them out early, because your mom did the same thing.
I'm popping them out early.
Of course you are.
Raising my oldest one. I'm raising who I didn't pop out.
Well, where did it come from?
Her. It came from his ex that she popped out.
I see. And when did you pop out your first?
When I was 21 years old.
I see. Mm-hmm. But the fact is that 21 is still too young to be having children.
I could afford them. I drive a brand new Dodge truck. I own my own home. He drives a brand new truck. I do not have kids until I could afford them. He makes a 3-figure income.
3-figure income? What's that, about $100 a year?
He makes over $500,000 a year.
Oh, that's a dear. Check your math. That's a 6-figure income.
I'm sorry, 6-figure.
He makes $500,000 a year doing what?
He owns his own business.
Okay. So then, if he owns, wait a minute. If he earns $500,000 a year, why do you need to go to work at all?
You know what? Because I choose to. Because you know what?
Well, you know what? Your kids need you.
They need me, and I'm there for them.
No, you're there sometimes, and sometimes your mother has to take that job over. My God, shame on you. You know what? If your boyfriend, who you don't choose to marry, makes $500,000 a year, you belong at home, and your mother belongs on a cruise somewhere, not home dressing and feeding your kids on the days when you can't be there.
Okay.
Shame on you.
I'm there. The problem that
Sometimes you're there, and sometimes you're not. Shame on you. How dare you saddle your mother with that responsibility?
My kids are off in school.
It's outrageous.
I take them out to feed them. I have dinner ready for my boyfriend when he comes home from work every
Your
day.
mother shouldn't be taking on any of that responsibility at all. At all.
What responsibility does she have? I take my lunch if I work till 12.
Why should she be babysitting your kids ever?
Babysitting them for while they sleep?
Yeah. While they sleep, or you said that some days you're not there to give them breakfast. Who feeds them that?
And then you know what? She'll feed them on that.
That's my point.
On a rare occasion.
Dear, you've told me two different things during this call. You've told me you work from 3 to 12, and then you're 4 to 12, and then you told me you work from 4 to 8. Which is it?
Do you have any children? It varies. I work at where my schedule varies from week to week. Do you have children?
No. And you know why I don't have children? Because I knew that my career was going to make me too busy to take care of them.
Okay, well, you know what?
And I was responsible, and unlike you, I thought ahead.
Okay,
But since your mother was popping out kids at 16, obviously you have no problem with doing that.
I was
kids out
16
young.
when I popped out.
You're still popping them out young, and then expecting...
You know what? I'm having my tubes tied because I don't want any more kids because I want to be able to enjoy life. You know what? You're right.
Why can't your mother enjoy life? Why would you even ask her to do that?
You know what? She only watches them on...
It doesn't matter where. I don't care when it is. You know what? Your boyfriend makes $500,000.
And you know what?
Yeah, daycare. Yeah, that's good, too, dropping the kids off at daycare. Your boyfriend makes $500,000 a year, and you drop your kids off at daycare? How dare you?
No, how dare I? So they can learn. So when they start kindergarten...
Dare, you should be home teaching them.
You know what? I don't have the skills to teach my kids how, I don't know, there's certain ways...
Well, I know. If you don't know how to spell or add or subtract, I imagine you can't teach it to others, I'm sure.
You know what? My kids aren't honor roll. So my kids...
Your kids are not honorable? Why not?
They are on honor roll.
Oh, they're on the honor roll.
Yes. They are not stupid kids.
Yeah,
And you know what? The reason for that is because I can pay for their education.
Well, it's not a matter of whether you can pay for it. It is a matter that you are not putting them there for education. You're putting them there so you can go off to work.
No, that's not true.
That is true. Then why don't you stay home and take care of them?
For a half of a day, so that way they can learn and be better educated for when they start kindergarten. When they
Sure.
start going.
Well, that's a nice rationale for dumping your kids off someplace during the day. It's very nice. I'm sure you feel very secure in the knowledge that you've done something nice, as opposed to feeling like you're essentially dumping your kids off with strangers.
So how do you feel about a politician that has a kid? They shouldn't have kids because they're politicians?
No, their wives should stay home and raise the kids.
There's a lot of people.
That's where you should be, is staying home and raising the kids. Your boyfriend makes $500,000. Unbelievable.
The Tom Leykis Show.
4:30
on 100.6. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Yes, a woman who has an MBA from Harvard Business School has written a book on helping women over 35 find a husband using proven marketing techniques. You can't market ice to the Eskimos. You know what I'm saying? And if you are one of those bitches who has bitched her way to the top, don't expect guys to be waiting for you when you're 35, 40 years old. You know what? We're not looking to be bossed around or snapped at or told what to do, and we're not going to sit around at 10 o'clock waiting for you to get home from a meeting. That's why you're single. John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Tom Lincoln.
Tom Leiken.
There you go. My name's John from Maryland.
Yeah, John, what can we do for you?
I was just wondering that with your outlook on women today, if your mother had 4 legs.
No, my mother had 2 legs.
Did she? Well,
yes, she did.
I was sort of raised that, a woman's a woman no matter what, and a bitch is a bitch, and I just figured that's where you came
Well, a bitch is a bitch. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
No doubt that a bitch is a bitch.
Yep, and that must have been where you came from, that in the trailer park.
Oh, you think so?
That's gotta be so.
Well, let me ask you this question, John. If that's the case, why am I down here at the radio station, and why are you calling in and asking to speak to me?
I didn't call in to ask to speak to you.
Really? Who called? Did we call you? Isn't the do not call registry going into effect? Did we call you?
Yeah, I called you, so
you did call and asked to be on the
see
air.
how people would perceive you here in Maryland. You got one serious problem.
Well, I'll tell you how they perceive. You want to know how people perceive you in Maryland? Hang on there, John. Let me get David. David's also in Baltimore. David, what do you think of what we're saying here?
Hey, Tom, you have a good point, and the other goober on the other line, I don't think he has a clue. He's probably one of them cats that pee while he sits down.
That's probably exactly right.
You know, see, the thing is that what Tom is saying, sir, is that, or as the way I see it, is that a lot of these women have made their choices in their life. They chose to be businesswomen. They were able to become successful in that, and that was nice, and they became predators in doing so. Now all of a sudden that their biological clock is going off, or if they're doing something else, now all of a sudden that
who called you to call in? Or you called to stroke him off?
No, I called to agree with him. I called to agree with him.
Close to being a man, and neither are you.
Yeah.
You look at women like that, and you think women are bitches. You got a problem.
No, I said,
and that's why you'll never get a woman that has any income. You'll end up with a welfare woman, which it sounds like that's sort of what I'm speaking to here, a man that needs one like that. You go out in the truck.
That sounds like a racial comment there to me.
Hey, dude, you're an idiot. You don't know me, and I was trying to explain it to you. And the thing is that you're probably one of those cats that gets off. You're probably one of those guys that get off having his woman getting banged by other guys in front of your face. You just want to be one of them subjugated guys, and you want to drag me down because misery loves company. The thing that I'm saying is that a lot of these women, and I know them because I happen to be a professional.
There's no misery here, son. I was just calling to hope that this man would recognize that the game he's playing, there is no way that a man can be the way he is. And if he is, we know he came from a trailer park, and his mom had
a lot of men are the way that he is, and a lot of men are the way that you are, which is the reason why a lot of women are the way that they are.
In fact, let me put this much in: the reason all these women over 35 can't find husbands is because so many men are like I am.
No, that ain't why they can't find a husband.
Oh, why is that?
You can't. Men like that can't find a wife.
Men like
really?
what?
I've been married for 12 years, genius.
But you must have a really good wife. Is she a bitch too?
Oh no, not at all. She can be bitchy. She can be, but hey, so can
because you're a man, and you
because you sound like you're on your 26th day today.
Use guys.
Yeah, speak English, homie. You from Baltimore too. And by the way, I'm not on welfare. I'm professional, and I have been a professional ever since I left school. I don't know what you've been going through, but I guess you know.
Well-educated professionals that grew up in a trailer park and their mothers had 4 legs.
What do you think he was saying, David, when he called you son earlier?
Well, I don't know. He's just probably speaking through his nicotine and beer haze.
Think so? Don't drink beer, sir.
well, what about the nicotine there with that obviously self-destructive attitude that you have? Because I can hear the smoke is rasp coming out.
Women like you do, that's what self-destructive is.
Yeah, well, you might want to listen to the whole thing.
Women that are bitches.
You might want to listen to the whole theory. He was talking about the women who are now 35 and are now all of a sudden upset because they had their career, and now all of a sudden they think that they could snap their fingers and get some guy to come at their beck and call the same way as their professional career worked out. So you might want to go back. You must be a product of the Baltimore Public Schools because obviously you have no comprehension capability.
You're sad. Both of you are sad.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, well then we're sad. Why don't you go back in your box and wait for your woman to come home and put your leash on you?
Well, I got to go home to my $250,000 box and put the heater that I'm buying in my son's room. I will go back home to my little box.
Well, you know what? Then that's a cheap house because the houses in Maryland have appreciated. Mine's have appreciated, and it's worth about $400,000 now. So
most
we know where you're coming from.
Most good houses were built with heat in the room already. You didn't have to go down to the Walmart and pick up a heater.
Yeah, well, hey, we all know what that is. So you probably got to go back to your double wide down in Essex or Dundalk or wherever you live.
David, thank you.
You need to learn to listen, Mr. Educated.
Thank you for the call. I want to get George in here to talk to John. George, what did you want to say to John?
Hey, I'm calling from Maryland, too, and this guy's just a massive douchebag. Not everybody thinks that way. He's an idiot. Kyle, we love you out here.
Thank you for that, George. I know that. John, I want to come to Baltimore so bad I can taste the soft shell crabs. I want to tell you right now, I'm ready to go.
All right, wait for you. And you got my number because I called in. Call me up. I'll show you what Maryland's about.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Soft shell, hard shell, venison, with turkey hunting.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised?
But you might have a problem
Mr.
because you're going to meet real women and not these bitches that like your mom.
If you don't tell him to shut up and change the channel, he doesn't like it.
Hey, I'm not on the channel. I'm on the cell phone, you morons.
Tell him, George. Tell him what you think of him. Tell him.
Hey, this is Churchville signing out. You all have a good time and keep looking for them bitches because you'll get one day.
My douchebag.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. Rachel on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How's it going?
I'm doing okay, Rachel.
I was going to ask you if this was Tom, but I didn't want to go through that whole thing. So,
yeah,
anyways, I just wanted to make a comment about that idiot woman who called earlier who had a boyfriend who supposedly made $500,000 a year and stuck her kids in daycare and with the mom and blah, 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 and she felt like she had to work and do her thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, and to that guy who called earlier and said that your mom was a bitch or whatever he was going on about, that I totally agree with your view. I'm 28 years old. I'm in medical school. When I become a doctor, I plan on staying home and raising my kids because I think that what you're saying is you have to take care of your kids first and put your kids first. If that's, if you want to raise them in a healthy two-parent family home, then that's the way you do it. You don't put them in daycare. You don't have the mom take care of them. You don't have the neighbors take care of them. You do it yourself. That's what makes kids smart, healthy, and balanced. And that's the whole problem with our society today is kids are screwed up because parents don't care.
Yeah.
And what you're saying
and really, you know, it's one thing to have a career, but what kind of meaningless job can you do for 4 hours a day? Oh, wait.
Exactly.
I do one of those.
But she kept changing it, too. It was 4 hours and 6 hours.
Maybe she's a talk show host. I don't know. Yeah.
So I
mean, it's one thing to say, well, I wanted to pursue my career as an attorney, but what are you doing from 4 to 8 in the morning? Delivering mail? What are you doing? Delivering the newspaper?
Yeah, but I'll tell you.
You would give up raising your own children to deliver the paper? I mean, come on.
No, I mean, Tom, when I become a physician, I'm staying home. Like, I don't care. I'm staying home. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, until they're old enough and they're in school, and then maybe I'll go work. But that's the number one priority, and people don't see that. And that's why people and children and high school kids are so messed up, because they don't have that. And that's too bad. But I'm so impressed with you that I just had to call in and say, you rock.
Well,
and,
thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the call. It's John on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Hey, I thought I'd like to give you a quick little diagnosis of yourself. That is,
well, we did this recently on the show. We're not here for armchair psychiatry today.
Okay, no armchair psychiatry.
So you just said you're calling in to give me an analysis of myself.
I won't give you.
I am not the topic
I'll
here.
Change right in the middle of it. Change right in the middle. See, there's other people that are quick thinkers like you.
I will be the judge of that when we're done listening to what you have to say.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I think you're one of these guys that are.
Yeah, wait, stop. I am not the topic. And if you continue to go in that direction, I'm going to hang up because that's not the topic. We gave people an opportunity to call in and give their analysis of me personally, and you were too busy to call in or whatever. But this is not the hour you're going to do that. And you're not going to finish that sentence ever on this program until it's time, and I tell you it's okay. Do you understand?
I don't understand what you're saying because.
Oh, well, how stupid are you? You told me you're a quick thinker. Listen, Einstein, I'm telling you we did that topic already, and I'm not going to let you do it during this hour. Do you understand?
Yeah, I know, because you're afraid to listen.
Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Tom on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's happening, Tommy?
Not nearly enough, pal.
All right, man. Listen, I just wanted to make a quick comment. I was listening about 10 minutes ago, and one of those guys were arguing about how you respect every girl and this, that, and the other thing. Man, I grew up in a family. I had two older sisters, okay? My dad was a cop, and you never got angry at them. You always respected them. You never touched them. And that's what you do when you're raising a family. Now, the problem with that was I'd go out into the world, and I would treat every girl I met with that same respect. and I've been living in L.A. for about the past 6 years, and if there's one lesson that I learned is you pick and choose who's worth your respect. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Nobody deserves respect. People always say, don't you think that women deserve respect? Nobody deserves respect. Respect is earned.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I mean, because, you know, part of me wants to respect somebody on a humanitarian level. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, listen, I've done okay as far as the chicks go, and I wouldn't even waste 3 dates on most of the girls that I met out here. Honest to God.
Well, first of all, I am not about respecting people. Dating is to get sex.
Yeah.
I'm not there to respect you or anything. I'm there to F you, ladies. That's what I'm there for.
Right.
Bottom line.
Okay.
No more, no less.
You ever laid some groundwork for a future with somebody?
Only after I've F'd them many times, and if at that point I think they're cool, sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm not saying never. I believe me, I've been married 4 times, and people know it. But the bottom line is dating is not for respecting people. It is for having sex with people.
Right. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's such a scene out in L.A. anyway. You know what I mean?
Where are you from?
I'm from Philly.
Yeah, I could tell you were from the East Coast. Do you live in Los Angeles now?
Yeah. Yeah, I moved out here about 7 years ago.
7 years ago? All right, well, lesson 1. Stop calling it out here.
Okay.
It's simply here.
Here.
Philadelphia is back there.
Yeah.
Back east, as we call it. But if you are with us, this is here. This is where we live.
Yeah, true enough.
Including you.
True enough.
Okay?
Yeah, man. All right.
So start soaking up L.A. like a sponge.
Yeah, I got no plans to settle down now, trust me.
Well, I'm just making sure.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Well, break it down for me.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
I'm a fairly new listener. I've been listening for about 6 months now. I love the show from day one. I've been hooked. I'm like a drug addict.
The Tom Leykis Show. Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Cindy. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Cindy.
I want to ask you your advice. I listen to you. I usually agree with you. I don't have any problems with you. I'm 34. I'm married. I work full time. I have two-year-old twins. Hello?
Yeah, but what is your question? That's not a question.
Okay, my advice, my question is, I hate that I have to work. I really do. But I have fertility issues, and I had time constraints on having children.
What do you mean you had time constraints?
I was unable to conceive, and I would have been more and more unable to conceive if we wouldn't have done in vitro. And so
Well, you're a special case.
So we chose to do that. Okay.
But even so, your kids are not going to be as well off as if you could be there with them raising them.
And I hate it. But what do you suggest for people like me? I hate that I can't be with my kids during the day. But, I earn more than my husband. We both earn, together maybe over 100,000.
Right. Now, why weren't you saving up during that time so you could sit back?
Well, we had to spend $20,000 on the IVF.
Well, that's $20,000. How long have you been making $100,000 between you?
Not long. We're 34 and he's 33. Not that long.
Well, I know how long you've been married. I have no idea.
4 years.
4 years. Okay. So over 4 years, you have to spend $20,000 you would have saved on fertility.
Yeah.
And finally, it paid off.
We have a house. We have a mortgage. We have 2 cars. We have now daycare expenses. But what I'm saying is I try my best. I spend every single moment I have with my children.
I understand all that. Now, you sound like a perfectly nice person, so I don't want to insult you or offend you. But I do want to say the following. If you can't afford to have children, maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right. But
in other words,
we were selfish and we wanted a family.
Well, that's my point. But the people who suffer are your children.
to a degree,
In order to satisfy your ego, you were going to have children that you couldn't stay around and raise.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, we want to give them a certain type of lifestyle also, along with.
Yeah, but let me tell. I'm going to tell you a story because again, you sound like a perfectly nice person. I don't want to beat you up in any way. So I'm going to, I'm going to tell you about my experience in my own life. Okay, with my dad. This is a true story. I'm going to run out of time, so let me just make it really brief.
Okay.
All right. When I was 11 years old, my dad wanted to leave New York City and move us to the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
And when we finally did move, he found out he had 5 hours of commuting a day, plus all the hours he had to work. And one day he came to me and he said, "Aren't you thrilled to be living here in this nice house?" I said, "You know what? No. I'd rather you be home all the time. We wouldn't be able to live in this nice house." I said, "I'd rather live in an apartment and have you